You can do it.
I've heard that all day.
You can do it. I don't mind. I'm a whore. I'll just say it.
I know. Ever since I posted this one, you're on.
I'm not paying for it.
I have heard that all day. Hi, Doc. Nice to see you.
Well, it's nice to be here. Hi, Doc.
So you're out all weekend long. I've had tons of people calling wanting tickets. Doc, I'm sending them on to you. Yeah, I know. Shake your head.
He's saying no.
Well, yeah, we still have some tickets available for the Funny Bone. Yes, happy to be here. Nate, hot out there. My goodness.
Should have been here last week. You'd have been saying, damn, it's cold
Oh,
in
yeah.
this place. And wet.
Yeah, I know. You guys got a ton of rain, huh?
Oh, you just got married, right?
Yeah.
Where'd you go, China for your honeymoon?
Yeah. I don't recommend it.
What, marriage or the honeymoon or China?
I recommend marriage. I do. I'm not that jaded, but I
Obviously
don't recommend.
spoken like a freshly married man.
Yeah, right.
I don't recommend China. You know, fried rice for breakfast. Breakfast, Chinese food for breakfast. It's a bad idea. And duck. Duck just tastes like duck. I don't care if it's well prepared or whatever. It's duck. It's greasy, and you can only eat duck so much. But anyway, we have duck. You got fried rice. What do you want for breakfast? I want some eggs. Okay, we got fried rice, eggs. We got fried duck, eggs. No, I just want eggs. No, okay, we'll get some eggs. We got the anyway, it was a tough.
What made you go to China of all places?
I wanted to go somewhere people didn't know me. I wanted to go to a cell phone photo-free honeymoon. So I said, let's go to China. Sure enough, they know me over there. We just got the grown-ups here on the pirate DVD. I said, oh, great. But no, it was actually nice. There's an island over there called Hainan Island. It's like the Hawaii of China. Anyway, no one who's listening to this is ever going to go there or look it up on the internet. But anyway, it's like Hawaii of China, except with a crazy construction and the worst drivers on the planet. And so it was nice. We got a little sun. I got probably the worst sunburn I ever got in my life. At least I know what I'm going to die of now. Duck for breakfast and sunburn.
You've been out the stage 20 years, all right, doing stand-up. What makes you come back?
Well, I did a movie with Chris Rock and Adam Sandler, Grown Ups, and during that time it was just like Chris Rock was just in my ear. But you got to get back up there and do it. You'd be great at it. And that's my Chris Rock impression, by the way. And then I said, I started writing jokes, and then I started doing 5 minutes and 10 minutes. The next thing I know, I'm going to really have to do this. So I spent like the last year and a half doing it. And I'm glad I'm here in Dayton, Ohio now instead of a year and a half ago when I first started. Because it wasn't as good, but anyway, now it's my act's got pretty good.
Yeah, but you're doing a pilot for CBS, I understand, as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought I was going to replace Charlie Sheen, but no, I'm going to do a pilot for...
Hell, I thought I was going to replace Charlie.
Yeah, that's good money, by the way. Oof.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to do a pilot. I don't even know what it's called. It's called Rob right now. So it's going to be probably next season. It'll probably end up being called No Comprende or something like that. Senior Rob. So it's about me married to a Mexican, kind of like what's happening in my real life.
Rob Schneider joining us. We were talking before we came on. You're
Yeah.
actually a San Francisco Giant fan, baseball
Yes,
Giant.
we had a very good year. We're having another good year this year. If you're pitching, if you got pitching, you're in for it. I grew up in the 70s, so in the late 60s, early 70s, I was a Giants fan. And we had, Willie Mays,
Tito Fuentes.
Tito Fuentes, that's a good pull, second
Jim
baseman.
Ray Hart.
Jim Ray Hart, good pull right there, yeah. So we had good players who could hit the ball. Bobby Bonds. We had good
Tom
outfielders.
Haller, Dick Dietz,
Yeah, that's
Jack
right,
Hyatt.
Dickie Dietz, right.
You had a good
Juan-
staff in.
Juan-
Marichal, Perry,
Marichal,
McCormick.
We got rid of, unfortunately they got rid of Gaylord Perry, traded him for the guy from the Cleveland Indians, alcoholic. What was
Sam McDowell.
Sam McDowell, there you go, good pull. So anyway, so Sam McDowell flamed out in about a year and a half, and then Gaylord Perry went on to pitch into the 1980s. But they always had good outfielders. That's who they developed in the Giants, but they never had really developed great pitching. Really, Marichal was like the last great pitcher that they had. He had that pitching style where he just burned out. Same with like Koufax. The smaller guys with that all that torque in the shoulder, they're only going to play so long, and they're going to lose that torque. That's what I'm a little worried about Lincecum. Except Lincecum is, they call him the freak for a reason, because he's extremely flexible. He could stand from a standing position and jump over that little fence, by the dugout there. He's really an incredible athlete. So I'm hopeful that he can kind of last longer. But they finally, put the emphasis into pitching, and it just goes to show you that's what got them past San Diego to get into the playoffs, and then to beat Philadelphia. That was better than the World Series.
Do you get to go back to many of the games when you're in Cali?
I got season tickets, but I'm mostly living in L.A. because, I'm an actor and I got to be down there. But so the mailman in my hometown loves me, and so does the police officers, and so do the teachers in the hometown because they get free tickets every year. But I got to go to a few games.
You can buy the Dodgers pretty soon.
Well, hopefully. I mean, I know McCourt is going to go to. It's a sad situation because I grew up hating the Dodgers. I hated LA because back in the 70s, unemployment in San Francisco was high. We were losing a lot of jobs. They were moving down to Southern California. The weather was better. The girls were better looking. So it was San Francisco. We hated the Dodgers. But now that I live in Los Angeles, it's good for them to be competitive, and they haven't been competitive. This guy McCourt, it is true. I mean, he took $6 million for himself. I don't know any owners that take that much kind of money out. A year. I mean, the value in a major league team is the franchise itself. Once it increases in value, like the average franchise, I guess, is worth $300 million now or something crazy like that. And so the McCourts, he was using it as his own personal ATM machine, is the current phrase in the LA Times. And I think he is not good for baseball.
They were just, I was reading before you got here, Nate, too, that they were worried about him running out of cash by the end of the month to even make payroll again. I think last month, didn't he have to take a loan from Major League Baseball to pay?
Yeah, MLB had to make the last payroll.
And so, but I think he's going to claim bankruptcy, which will screw things up a bit. And then he has to get 8 owners to vote along with him to not throw him out. I don't think he's going to get.
He's not going to get any.
I don't think so. He's just bad for baseball. And I can say that whole thing with his wife and that ugly divorce, and I think some of that is you can't prevent. But certainly, if you field a winning team, you get divorced every month. They won't care in LA.
You were talking downstairs too about expanding the playoffs. I'm surprised. I'm in agreement with you. I don't want to see baseball expand because of exactly what you said. You got the hockey, you got NBA, same thing. It's almost watered down now.
Well, I mean, with basketball, who cares? I mean, basically, whoever gets into the playoffs and the top 2, the playoffs are definitely more exciting than the regular season. But the whole idea in baseball is the pennant. If you win the pennant, the Giants win the pennant. The Giants win the pennant. I mean, that was. It doesn't mean anything now because you can get wiped out. You win the pennant. And then you get wiped out by a wild card team who was 10 games below you. And so it's a little bit, to me, it waters it down. And it's like how no matter what they try to ruin baseball, and believe me, Bud Selig has tried to ruin baseball. They knew about the steroids scandal way ahead of time. They knew about it. They wanted to, after the '94 strike season, they wanted people's attendance to come back, and they didn't care who was taking what. They genuinely didn't care.
Well, Cam and Eddie. They ended up admitting they knew, and after he died, after the MVP, and then obviously McGuire and Sosa, they knew.
They did know, and then they also knew about Bonds. I mean, it's pretty obvious. When his head size increases 3 sizes, something's going on. It's not the tofu. And so, but what I think, the chance was when Bart Giamatti died. That was really a tough time for baseball because he was a guy who you would not have had that strike in '94. You would have had a way to work that out. And that was a beautiful year. And when you go back to that strike year, that was a magical year. You had Matt Williams for the Giants hitting 30 home runs by June. You had Montreal, a great team you talk about Pedro.
You remember their outfield?
They were in first place, yeah. You had, was Vladimir Guerrero?
He was in right.
Was in right. And
Raines.
That's right. Okay, Raines. And
Dawson or Cromartie, I'm thinking.
Dawson, maybe it was Dawson. Was Dawson gone? He was gone.
He
was a Cub.
Yeah, Valentine and Dawson.
Valentine was retired.
So they were in first place. So
Larry Walker.
if you take a look at what's happened to baseball since then, is you see the money teams and teams like Kansas City. I'm glad that they they won the series against the Yankees, but that's just the odds on. They're a $30 million franchise. That's a $30 million payroll. And I don't think you'd have the huge discrepancy that you have now with the rich and the poor teams. I know there's always been rich teams and poor teams. You can go back to St. Louis Browns and whatever. But I don't think this is a continuation of hurting baseball by expanding the playoff system. And it's a money grab. It's just a blatant whore money grab.
Yep.
And I think what they should have done, if Giamatti and if Vincent wouldn't have gotten fired, I think what you could have had a real, I don't mind, this is a good idea. The interleague play is decent and it's exciting to see. It creates interest in baseball, and it is good for baseball. But what I would have liked to have seen is a complete realignment in 2000. You could have done that. You could have said it's a new century, 2001, let's do it. And then you could have all the West Coast teams on one league. And you could have just 4 divisions, and that's enough. And then then you have a real playoff, then you have the World Series, and that would be a beautiful thing. And you could have had, there's no reason that the Oakland A's and the San Francisco Giants and the Seattle Mariners and the San Diego Padres and the Angels and the Dodgers shouldn't be in that same division.
Well, remember back when we were younger, Reds were in the West with the Giants, the Braves were in
That's
the West.
right, and that was exciting.
I'm impressed. You seem like you got a lot of history.
Well, I
knowledge of baseball.
I love the game, and I love the the golden era of baseball was basically up until '75. Up until maybe by.
Wait a minute, that's when the Reds won.
I know. That's what I mean. Through '75 season, and that was the big red machine. Was like, and I'm glad that the Reds are they have a really solid
You want
team.
Dusty Baker back?
Dusty Baker's a buddy, and I like.
Would you like him back?
No, I like.
He's not that good a buddy then.
No, I mean, as far Dusty got burned out in San Francisco. I think Dusty had spent his time out there, and as far as whatever Dusty could ever say, because I know he had a bad taste in his mouth when San Francisco left. And Dusty, if you're listening to this, and I hope you are, you got to know that when the Giants were in last place, they re-signed you. When the Giants were in the cellar, he got an extension to his contract. So the Giants were good to Dusty, and I know Dusty had some issues with. It's just tough. When you've been around long enough as Dusty, Dusty was like on base. I'm sorry, Dusty was, when Hank Aaron hit his 715, Dusty was on deck. I mean, this guy's been around forever. He was a solid player. He used to kill us as a Dodger. He used to kill the Giants. And he's a really knowledgeable guy. But his real key to him is to recognize young talent and to get people motivated to play underneath him. And that's what he does. And he's got some real players. And I mean, you take any other manager, you put him in that spot. I don't know if that's the same team last year.
Yeah, because I know the Knack, when he left the Cubs, he couldn't handle young players, and he comes to Cincinnati, and that's pretty much what he's got. He won last year.
Yeah.
He's got him toward the top. Now, they open with St. Louis tonight at home. Interesting series for him. But you look at his record, the Giants, the Cubs, and the Reds, he's very successful.
Very successful. The Cubs is a tough place because the Cubs also, I mean, it is a sneaky New York. It really is. You have to win there. And
That's
it's like,
Lou Piniella.
yeah, you have to. I mean, and it's tough. I mean, you got players. The difference, Dusty Baker told me this. He said you have you got guys who are in their mid-20s, 26-year-old men, but emotionally they're like 15. Because, you got guys, they were the best of the best of the best in Little League. They were the best of the best in Babe Ruth League, in high school, in college or in the minor leagues. And then they just, it's not the real world to them. They got people wiping their butts, so it's tough to get guys to really listen to them. But he's a motivator, and it's been tough, and he did have a tough time, for a while, but he's a survivor, and he's a winner. He's a proven winner. And to help turn around, he got a lot of support from that franchise, though. They got a nice stadium, and they've got behind him, and the GM's doing a good job, and they can field talent. At the end of the day, I don't care how good a manager you are, you're not going to be able to hit, you're not going to be able to steal, you're not going to be able to throw, you're not going to be a closer, and he's got the whole team. So I think that's look for Cincinnati to go up against the Giants for it all this year.
I'd like to see it. They're waving fair catch and cut it off, so I know you got to get out of here.
Well, it was a pleasure, and hey, I wish this area the best, and hope it's going to start raining again tomorrow. I heard.
Tonight. You got tickets available, Doc, tonight? Is there seats available?
For the 10 o'clock shows tonight, tomorrow.
10 o'clock for tonight,
Sunday.
tomorrow, and then otherwise, I know you guys, if it keeps raining here, you guys could start arc testing.
Yeah, they started that about 3 weeks ago, and you're going to get it again tonight.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I'll be indoors, hopefully.
All about the Funny Bone this weekend. Rob Schneider, a
Oh,
pleasure.
bless you. Thank you.
All right, we're back in a minute. Hang with us.